on the threes.
All right, everyone, let's roll through this forecast, and we will start with a look at the school bus forecast here this morning. Some of those students are going to be going back out there, and we'll be doing so with mostly sunny skies out there. Temperatures have been sitting in the upper 70s. A little bit of a breeze out there this morning, which is kind of helping out just a little bit. For the pickup forecast a little later on tonight, though, 92 for the high. Sun and clouds with a couple scattered showers possible. Keep an eye on the radar. I know not going to be a guarantee that you do see some rain. They're going to be, again, fairly scattered out there, but it's very typical summer type weather, honestly, is what we're going to be seeing, and the temperatures are going to be right around there as well. Heat index value is sitting close to about 100 up through the later parts of the afternoon, upper 90s to 100, I think anywhere from 97 to 100 degrees. The mornings haven't been too bad. Now, it's warm out there. It's sticky outside. I think it's a lot warmer than many of us would like it to be this time of year. However, I think that we'll start to see the mornings improving more and more as we go through the next couple of days, sitting in the mid-70s for tomorrow. We get back up in the triple-digit heat index range for your Thursday afternoon. We're going to do it again as we get into Friday as well. A couple very hot days coming up here across Acadiana. So those of you who are going to be heading outside, wanting to walk around, doing a little bit of running, do keep in mind that you are going to be all right through the majority of the day. I try and take care of any kind of runs in the morning because you got the heat and the humidity that does settle in a little bit later, and if nothing else could impact the run, make you a little bit slower out there. And then, of course, the rainfall as you get further into the afternoon. A lot of that is going to be built like late in the afternoon here today and early parts of the evening. As far as the tropics go, they are still very active, but they are not threatening the Gulf of Mexico right now. The Gulf is staying quiet. There was a swirl that's out here. Looks like it's dealing with some shear. So at one point looked like it might be a tropical depression headed towards the Carolinas. I think that will probably fizzle now over the next couple of days. And then out in the central Atlantic, you do have Tropical Depression Renee, and then you've got Tropical Storm Paulette. Right behind it, likely Sally getting up off the African coast right now. Way too early to see how this is going to respond once it does get into the Atlantic Ocean. And then back behind it, the wave train continues. Another wave off over through Central Africa right now, and we'll watch that one as it gets closer towards the coastline as well. Getting into the peak tropical season now, we've got Sally up next, Teddy after that, then two more names until we hit the Greek alphabet. 6:45 right now, it's 77 degrees.
All right, thanks, Daniel. We have a live look this morning at the White House, where President Trump is getting ready to release his picks for a spot on the Supreme Court. The list of potential nominees is something that President Trump started during his 2016 campaign as a way to win over voters. In a recent tweet, the president said that the new nominee list may include some that had already been on it. Since he has been in office, President Trump has helped get Justice Neil Gorsuch to the High Court and Brett Kavanaugh, who went to trial during his confirmation for sexual assault. Presidential rival Joe Biden has said that he would nominate a black woman for the Supreme Court if elected. Looking ahead, the White House will facilitate a historic deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Now, a ceremony on Tuesday will allow leaders from two countries to sign an agreement for normalizing relations. It will come as a victory for President Trump on foreign policy. The oil-rich UAE will now begin trading with Israel. When the deal was announced last month, the countries established phone links and flew the first direct commercial flight between each other. The White House getting a jump start on the holiday season. Planning is already underway for the traditional Christmas decorating of the White House. First Lady Melania Trump and President Trump are asking for volunteers from the public to help. They're also looking for musicians, choirs, Christmas-themed entertainers, and during the holiday open houses. The White House says that social distancing will be observed and volunteers will be expected to wear masks and use hand sanitizer.
Well, new this morning, global entry enrollment interviews are resuming for the first time since March. Global entry lets American travelers use kiosks to bypass lines at major airports around the world. However, there will be some changes that applicants see at those enrollment centers. Things like staggered appointments, no more sign-in sheets, and plexiglass barriers. The Nexus and FAST programs will remain paused since the Canadian and Mexican borders are still closed to non-essential travel. We have new information when it comes to the hotel industry. Hotel reservations were down drastically this Labor Day weekend compared to last year. According to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, says bookings for the holiday week were down 65% and experts don't believe that number will improve during Thanksgiving or Christmas. As it stands, almost 2/3 of hotels are at or below 50% occupancy, which is below the threshold where most hotels can break even and pay debt.
New this morning, 2020 is changing education everywhere, but medical students are facing some unique challenges. In March, med students were taken out of hospitals and doctors' offices where they normally work in the hands-on environment. They were taken out not because of the risk of coronavirus, but rather the limited PPE supply. Now telehealth is becoming a part of the med students' curriculum, with experts saying that the pandemic has highlighted the importance of it. Increasing diversity among doctors could help address disparities in care. That's the theory behind the program gaining traction at a California medical school. The goal of LEAD ABC is to recruit more black students. The program's director says that there may be different ways to approach or treat patients of different backgrounds. This year's class had the largest number of black students ever, 12 out of a class of 104. Well, one company has paused its trial for a coronavirus vaccine for a possible side effect illness. AstraZeneca was in the late stages of its testing when a participant came down with an unexplained sickness. The company is investigating if it's side effects of the vaccine, but did not go into details about what the sickness involved. Now, they're testing their vaccine in several countries, including the U.S. The possible side effect happened in the U.K. No other participants have reported getting sick. Well, pets, they're part of our everyday lives, whether they share our home, they work alongside us, or they serve as a companion to help us get through those tough times. They're there for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, we're starting a new series here on GMA. It's all about pets. We want to answer questions that you may have or give you resources that help you better care for your four-legged family members. Well, with Hurricane Laura impacting much of South Louisiana, shelters across Acadiana are having a hard time keeping up with the influx of animals coming in. Now, Janine Fauché, executive director of Acadiana Animal Aid, says that they've taken in numerous pets from other shelters to lend a helping hand. Now, she says that increase comes the need to make sure that medical needs of these animals are met.
All shelters are in financial need right now because they're either grappling with devastation to their shelter, they're taking in more animals. I know for Acadiana Animal Aid, we're taking in, let's just say we've taken in over 20 cats, and if the majority of them have ringworm, that means they need to stay in our shelter longer. That means we need additional staffing and medication and all of that stuff. So it has an impact on our operating budget. So financial donations, very much appreciated.
Well, Fauché says that many people have been reaching out to see how they can help. She says contacting the local pet pantry is the first step to see what they need, because not only are people in our community reaching out, but also those who have been displaced because of the storm. Well, every week we'll feature a pet at Acadiana Animal Aid available for adoption rather. This morning we have Molly Ringwald. She comes to Animal Aid as a pup and is now 11 months old. If you're thinking I need add Molly to my brat pack, we'll post all her information and how to apply for adoption over at KATC.com. Let's work to get this girl a forever home before she adds 16 candles to her birthday cake.
And maybe you have a Jake Ryan for her at home. You never know.
Never know.
So it would be perfect. Well, the time now is 6:52. After the break, we'll tell you what you need to know before you go. And Daniel, have another look at your forecast. Stay with us.
Forecast. Here's KATC meteorologist Daniel Phillips.
Temperatures sitting in the 70s across Acadiana, 78 degrees in New Iberia right now, 77 up through Lafayette, 74 for Ville Platte, and 76 down over towards Jennings. It is a very warm, very muggy start to the day today, and it's going to stay that way all the way through into the afternoon. Eventually, we're going to see those temperatures settle into the lower 90s, but 92 degrees later on, 93 for Thursday, Friday. You've got mostly sunny skies here towards the end of the week, and as we get further and further into the weekend, I think we start to see more and more moisture arriving into the area, and that is going to just kind of hang out for a while. We've got a boundary that kind of stalls on top of us, and that's going to keep the door open all the way through next week for some widely scattered showers. I think fairly soggy week coming up next week. Now there'll be breaks in the rain. It's not going to be continuous, but again, a fairly wet week coming up next week. 92 degrees here for the high today. We're going to see those heat index values push up close to about 100 in the afternoon. Lows tonight do drop down to around 75. Stays very warm, stays very muggy, and with showers on the way for next week, I would say that if you've got yard work out there, I'd take care of it probably Thursday, Friday. I think with a couple showers in the forecast Wednesday, maybe a few on Saturday. Might as well just take care of it when you know it's going to be dry. Will still be very, very hot. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. And even Saturday morning, I think Saturday morning you're probably going to be fine. 30% chance for an isolated shower or two as you get further into the day on Saturday. Again, the wetter weather is going to be arriving at Acadiana starting Sunday and lasting all the way through most of next week.